Welcome back to the Agent Lead Source podcast. This is episode 12, and I probably just messed that up because I don't remember. But we're doing the additional revenue streams for realtors. This was a very requested topic because who doesn't want a little bit extra cash? Now, before we go forward, let's introduce the team. My name is Jaime Resendez, and I am recording here out of Texas. And then we have on the other side of the world,
Joseph Gonzalez, and I'm recording here out of Singapore. Singapore. It's a city-state country all on its own.
Bam. And then we, of course, have our producer, Pat Patterson. He's the one that makes everything happen on the back end, and it's amazing that he's still employed because we just can't afford somebody else at this point. So anyway, we are talking about additional revenue streams for realtors. I don't know why I continue pausing at the intro or the name, because I just get so excited about money. It's very important. It makes everything work, basically. And yeah, so what we're going to talk about today is going to cover all different aspects about additional revenue streams. Sometimes we're going to go a little bit outside of the real estate world, but it's still in context, making sense. So additional revenue streams. The goal is for you to continue being a real estate agent, but also maximize being a real estate agent. So we're going to go into different aspects, and we're going to present to you just maybe something that you haven't thought about in the past. So we're going to go again a little bit outside of the real estate, just enough to come back in and optimize yourself as a real estate agent and optimize your relationships with buyers, sellers, investors, and other real estate agents, among other ways to make some revenue streams. So Joseph, did I miss anything out there?
No, I think that's good. We're just talking about making extra money, right? As a real estate professional, obviously maximizing, which you hit, your revenue streams from your real estate transactions, plus other things that you could do within real estate and outside of real estate. So I think you hit that just right.
Awesome. So let's start with maximizing and leveraging buyers and sellers. So here, how I like to frame it is additional real estate revenue. So you know what your business is. If you're a real estate agent, you help buyers buy and you help sellers sell. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. That's something that a real estate agent does, or one that wants to stay in business. That's what they do. Yeah. So what we're talking about here is maximizing you being a real estate agent and maximizing the buyers and sellers, basically the transaction. We're talking about additional revenue streams that you can introduce into the transaction outside of the commission that the seller provides both the buyer and the seller's agent. So, or the listing agent and the selling agent, if we're going to be technically correct. So we're talking about that type of revenue. And just to give you some examples so you can start putting it into context, and framing it is something that you probably already know. Most brokerages do this, or a good amount of brokerages go ahead and introduce this revenue stream, and that is home warranties. So you've probably seen that disclosure. In fact, it's in Texas, it has its own disclosure where you have to disclose that you're receiving money. So you're receiving cash if the buyer that you're working with selects that home warranty that you have an affiliation with. So it varies across the board, but the most common amount, and Joseph, you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, the most common amount for referral, if you will, is about $50. Have you seen anything different?
No, I mean, that's about right, I think, right? These home warranty, I mean, let's even take it a step further. When we talk about the home warranty, those of you who are watching, let me know and let us know is if you've had the home warranty people come to your office to present, right? Whenever I was back in Texas, we had an office of 100 plus agents, and we'd have somebody come in once a week, it felt like, to present their home warranty program, right? So then once they presented that, they really didn't talk about the affiliate part so much, but you knew it was there. And so whenever you had the transaction, then you had the ability, of course, the buyer can select that. So hopefully those of you who are watching, let us know if you've had that experience where a home warranty person either contacts you or comes into your office, so you can kind of get on the same page of what we're talking about here. But Jaime, I think roughly that $50 range, $50 maybe $75 range probably is where it falls as far as that additional commission, right? And that can build over the course of a year, right? So let's talk about what that looks like, multiple transactions.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you went there because getting into the industry, you see the big commissions. Well, that's one of the reasons that I entered
Yeah,
the industry after having bought and sold a $500,000 house and seeing that amount going to
yeah,
somebody else.
yeah,
Okay. Well, let's talk here. Let's see, how can I become that real estate agent? After seeing those commissions and it's starting to cash those myself, to be honest with you, Joseph, and I want to get your perspective as well. I used to just turn my nose at those.
yeah.
It's way more. I can't be bothered with an addendum. It's small potatoes, $50, doesn't matter. I'm gonna collect a $10,000 commission. Why am I gonna bother with the $50 peanut, if you will?
Yeah.
Were you as biased as I was, or were you a little bit more open?
I think no, I was definitely not open. I'm same perspective, right? So as you look at it, you go, okay, look, I'm going to sign this $7,000 or $10,000 check that I'm about to get, and this extra $50 doesn't mean anything. However, looking back on it and thinking as a business owner, every dollar counts, right? We're talking about profit and loss. So that profit of $50 could have been gas money for the month, right? It could have been, it could have covered some of the stuff we'll talk about a little bit later. It could have covered some of the fees that we have every month as real estate agents, right? So looking back at it as a new agent, those are things that you need to take advantage of, right? Because that could also be marketing dollars. That could be so many different things to your business. It could be money to buy extra signs because now you're starting to get listings, right? If your brokerage doesn't cover that. So as you look at that process, and I think about myself and Jaime, maybe you as well, as a new agent, we see new agents all the time complaining about not having enough money. But they're also doing things that we just talked about, not taking advantage of the free money that's out there. So
100%, 100%. And it is free money. It's just a little bit of effort by a disclosure. It really is that simple. It's a
yeah,
disclosure. And before we get into some other examples, I want to go ahead and share a little bit more of how to have that uncomfortable conversation, or what people perceive as uncomfortable conversation with buyers and sellers alike,
yeah,
where it may feel a little bit uncomfortable coming to the whoever it is, your client, and saying, hey, would you mind signing this disclosure? And, maybe feeling a little bit shy, including even a little bit guilty of, hey, it's just so I can get some additional money to get 50 more bucks,
right,
knowing full well that you're getting 10, 12, however much the commission is. So the way that I like to present it, and the way that I share with the agents that I work with, is present it as a package. Present you offering the service as an entire package, the move-in package, the selling package, what have you. And the moment that you present it as a package or an offer, something outside of, hey, sign this addendum because I need 50 more bucks, presenting
mm-hmm.
it as a package, it's going to reframe the entire conversation. And and at the end of the day, the home buyer and the home seller, they're just going to see it as that another item that they just need to tick off their list. And you're providing the entire solution. Hey, I'm going to introduce to you these utility connection companies. You're going to go with one of them. It's called my utility concierge. They're going to go out and shop your internet. They're going to go out and shop your electricity if it's not in a regulated spot. They're going to go out and shop X, Y, and Z. So I'm kind of introducing another aspect, Joseph, the
Sure,
utility
sure.
connectors out there. These companies are fairly recently became more and more in the mainstream, and you get some additional money that way, but you also get a huge discount for your clients. So coming back to the original point that I was trying to make, if you present it as a package, as a solution, as an offer, as a problem solver,
Yeah,
you're going to get no pushback.
right. Well, I think the main point there, Jaime, as I was listening to you, is solution, right? Because that's what you get paid for. You get paid for being a solutionist, right? A problem solver. If you can present it as an idea of, hey, this is what you can go find all these things yourself, and you can do all these things yourself. But if you use these people, use my name, or use whatever I'm giving you here, it's going to help you. Now, again, you can go price this stuff out if you want to. It's perfectly fine. I'm trying to save you time and effort, but I also want to be honest with you. Just to let you know, I do get a kickback from these things, but I only present to you the best services that are out there, and whether they're the cheapest or the best. I try to find something that's in the middle, right? So having that conversation, I think a lot of people worry about the conversation because they think they're still selling, right?
Mm.
And you're not selling anymore because what you're trying to sell is already done, which is the big transaction. At this point, what you're doing is you're just trying to find solutions for them because they have to have all the things we're talking about anyway, the home warranty stuff, the all the utilities, right? They have to have these things anyway. So you're just making it easier. And by the way, it helps you, it helps me. We all win from this, right? Even though they might be signing the contract and saying, wait a minute, you just made about $10,000. Why do you want more money? But at the end of the day, I think it's important to understand as a professional, your goal is always to help your client, right? We have the fiduciary duty to make sure that we're serving them. So part of this, you have to think about it that way as well, right? So yes, that's a bit of a salesperson talking in my head, but at the same time, finding a solution for them and helping them is what our main goal is. So that conversation shouldn't be a difficult conversation.
Yeah. And I like how you framed it right there. It's you feel like you're still selling, but you're really not. At
Yeah.
that point, the sale's going to happen. And at this point, somebody signed somewhere so you can get commission.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen. And at the end of the day, if you really boil it down, you're going to get these questions anyway. So why wouldn't you get compensated for it, right? These events, depending on how many transactions you do, these events don't happen every single day unless you're selling 365 homes a year. If you are, fantastic, congratulations, but that's not the majority. So
Correct.
you have a lot of these, a lot of agents that, you're doing 10, 20 transactions. In the grand scheme of things, those are 20 opportunities or 10 opportunities that you can multiply those transactions. So you're going to get asked these questions anyway. And if you do a little bit of the legwork, like to your point, Joseph, you can really leverage it and multiply it. And
Correct.
it's something, as you add more and more transactions and you really get your system down, you're providing that solution from the very beginning, the first time that they called you, to the moment that you're at the title company and beyond.
Oh, you can even say right at the beginning, you can even say, look, I'm going to help you buy a house or sell your house, but I'm also going to help you get a home warranty because it helps do X, Y, Z. I'm going to help you get your utilities. I'm going to help you through this entire process. And so if you say that up front, they know that that's what you're going to do. I'm not just your realtor. I'm the person that's going to help you do all these things as well, right? Let's talk about a little bit, Jaime, about how this hits the agent's pocketbook, because I think that's the most important thing. We say $50 and people are like, $50, just like we said, right, in the beginning. $50. Why do I care about $50 whenever I can go out there and sign $10,000 checks? Well, if you have a car, most people in America have a car payment, right? If you own a house, you have a mortgage. If you have a car, you have insurance. If you have a home, you have insurance. So what I tell people to think about is, especially when they're starting a business, and then specifically in real estate, every dollar that you get, $50 here, $50 there, you start stacking that up into 10 deals or 20 deals or whatever. That's $500, right? That $500 can cover either part of your mortgage, or if you drive a luxury car, your car payment, or if you drive a crappy car, you're a couple months worth of car payment, right? So if you think about that process, and not to knock anybody that drives any type of car or whatever have you, but you think about that process of adding that $50, and we're just talking about home warranty alone, right? We're not talking about utilities and everything else. You start adding that up, that starts taking care of your bills. And that's where people don't think as a business owner about those things. And if you're watching this, let me know if that makes sense. Covering your bills by having somebody else pay you for basically signing a couple pieces of paper, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it adds up. So just going through another example, we covered the home warranty. We touched on utility connection companies. And this one, I laugh a lot because this company is so, well, I'm not going to name a company, but the home security companies, there's one that has 3 initials that that rhymes with BET, but did I do a good job, Joseph? Because you're usually good at those.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's
Did
pretty
I
good.
tilt my hand on which one?
I don't think so. But I think most people know who it is. If you know which home security company we're talking about, make sure you comment in the. I guarantee you've gotten a call this month already if you're watching this.
I made a comment a while back and it got like 1,000 likes on. I think it was in this group that I feel that I'll say it. I feel like that security company, it knows that I'm going to get the client before I even get the client. And they start calling me about it. I feel like they know that I'm going to get a client. I'm going to get a call tomorrow. And they start marketing to me and saying, hey, has your client closed on the home? And do they have a security company to work with? Now that one, I believe it's either $25 or $50 in a gift card. I started taking their call a long time ago, but they'll call you and they are really aggressive with it. So whoever their sales person is, whoever taught them follow up, they're actually pretty good at follow up. I just don't necessarily like their product. So I'm sure you've got that call many, many times, Joseph.
Yeah, I think I got to know the person from that company so well. Every time she called me, I actually remember her name. But I never did any business with them, right? But they would call consistently, just like you're talking about, before the transaction, during the transaction, and after the transaction. But now that you say that, I'm always like, now that you said that, I'm thinking, yeah, they always call before the transaction. How do they know that? So somebody's either they have a good hacker and nobody knows that the systems have been hacked, the MLS or anything has been hacked, or they just know the schedule of when transactions are going to happen, and they're very good at calling at the right time, right?
Oh yeah,
Yes, plenty of calls.
They I feel like they made their name in that particular where it became a meme, but they're not the only ones around. Really, why I wanted to bring that up was to illustrate that those $50 add up, those $100 add up. That's another, and we're talking about the same transaction. We haven't stepped outside of the transaction. Right. You're going to get different revenue streams later on in the podcast, but we're just talking about leveraging your relationship with your buyers and sellers, aka you're leveraging the transaction that you already have. So we're going to get into some other strategies that don't necessarily revolve around a transaction, because that's going to be beneficial to agents that don't have the book of business quite yet, as they're building it up and hanging in there in real estate until it pays off. But that's just another example. Home security companies do it as well. Before we got on the call, Joseph, we talked about stagers. Yeah. That's another huge opportunity. Now you're going over to the selling side. I'm sorry, the listing side. So have you had much experience with stagers?
I haven't, but I want to hear your experience or thoughts on this, because I have some ideas around staging. I don't know if they coincide with the ideas that you have. Because I know that they're very, very large banks built from stagers. We'll just say that.
Yeah. Yeah. So with stagers, essentially what we're talking about is staging companies. Whenever you have a home that either the owner is not the primary owner and it's vacant, or you have a homeowner that needs to move and has moved and the home is vacant, statistically, or at least this is what stagers tell me, and I believe them, statistically, a home that is staged sells quicker and for more. Now, every stager is going to have their own statistics, and it's kind of like the, I want to believe them because I do feel, in my personal experience, it does present completely different. And I'm not saying that we offer it anymore, but it certainly does ring true. So with stagers, really the play there, people call it different. People call it either a service charge. People call it an affiliate. Basically, you're baking in a little bit of a referral fee for yourself. So stagers, they'll either do hey, this is retail price, but this is Jaime's price because you're working with Jaime, and it just happens to coincide with, let's say, 90% of the off 90% from the retail price, and the delta, they basically cut. It would have been 80%, but they cut in 10% for you. So that's basically how that works.
Again,
At least that's how I've seen it work.
again, so as you think about that process, you're saying, hey, look, just because you're working with me as your agent and we're able to stage your home and you're vacant or whatever have you, I'm already saving you money. And we're going to sell this house faster because based on what this person says or this company says or NAR says, this is how much faster the house is going to sell, right? So even though I'm making, you don't have to say the part, even though I'm making money, it's like, I'm saving you money, right? At the end of the day. So one thing as you were talking about the staging companies and selling faster, one way to get through this is to say something like, hey, would you consider staging your house? The reason I bring it up is, have you ever visited a new construction house? And the seller's gonna be like, yeah, actually, I have visited a new construction house. And have you visited the model? Yes. Is the model always the best house that you visit? Yes. Okay. Do you want buyers to feel the same way that you feel whenever you walk into a model home? Like, man, this house is ready to go. I'm ready to buy this house. Yes, you absolutely do want to feel that way, right? You want your buyers to feel that way as they walk in, right? As we present the house to them. So that, again, like, it's just knowing, and whenever you're in a business, it's just knowing what people want. So as a agent, you should know what the seller wants their people to feel like, right? And as long as you know what they want, you give them what they want, right? And so staging is one of those things that I believe, it's just like Jaime believes, as I hear the number, right, it helps the house sell 70% faster, or 60% faster, or whatever that number is. It is one of those businesses that gives you the opportunity to make a lot of money on top of what you're already doing, right? And if you're really, really into it, then you just start a side hustle that's that's a staging company, right? And you go around and you offer that to agents in your office. You know what I mean? So and there's a lot of good furniture out there on Craigslist and these other places that you could bring in. Anyway, that's a whole, again, that's side hustle stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yes, there's money to be made by doing that. So I'm glad you kind of dove into that process, because I'm not very familiar with the listing side, because I mostly have worked with buyers in my past. That's what we typically teach. So very interesting concept, though, at the end of the day, because they charge what do you know what the typical charge is for that?
Several thousand, depending on the really most of them do it depending on your budget. So if you can say, hey, what can you give me for $1,200? They'll put like 12 pieces in that home. And they'll put it for 2 months. They'll give you a free month. What's that? 2 plus 1, 3. They'll give you those, and then you can do an extension. So it's a contract based item. If you sell it right off the bat, then you still pay for it. But at the end of the day, that's the goal anyway. You don't want to necessarily plan out that entire write out that entire contract, because that means that the home is still for sale.
Correct. Oh, that's good to know, right? So now you start talking about 10% of that, right? So now we're talking about $100 at least. So now you've got $100 for each listing that you get on top of your transaction if it closes. You've got $50 from your home security system that we won't talk about, company. And then you've got your utilities, right? So now we're talking about a couple $100, right? Yeah. So now you do that 10 times in a year. Now we're talking about a couple $1,000. So then now you start talking about your bills that you're covering by having these things done. Hopefully those of you who are watching this makes sense in regard to making extra money. And again, I think we're still kind of talking about the transaction at this point in time. We haven't even really gotten outside of the transaction yet. So we're talking about an extra couple $1,000 to cover your bills, cover marketing fees, whatever you want that money to cover. And for all intents and purposes, it's free money at the end of the day, right? It's just part of what's going to happen anyway.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and transition into our first sponsor.
Yeah.
I'm so kidding. We don't have a sponsor. One of these days, Joseph, I'm going to surprise you with an actual sponsor, and you're going to be pleased. So
be floored.
Let us know if you're interested in sponsoring this podcast, because we will gladly take your money. But since this is our promo spot, we're actually going to ask you to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. So it will be linked down below if you're watching the live. If you're not watching the live, then you're watching or listening to us on the podcast. So go ahead and give us a 5-star review if we earned it. If we didn't, then we don't want your 1 star. Let's not do that because that is not cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
so 5-star reviews, that would be fantastic. Migrating over into different aspect, I think that we understand, or at least did a good enough job of presenting different options. Now you can do the leveraging the transaction to its maximum ability with many different items. We just gave you 4 concrete ways to do that. I'll throw in a bonus before we head out of this this section, and currency exchange. That is something else that you can partake in, believe it or not. If you have foreign buyers that need to convert pesos into dollars, yen into dollars, whatever the case may be, if you have foreign clients, then you can participate in the currency exchange, believe it or not. So we'll link that down in the show notes. We don't have too much time to cover that aspect, but know that you can get creative. You can get incredibly creative. That is happening right now. The currency exchange, you receive a small kickback, if you will, but it's not really that small, because when you're talking about a $500,000 home, even a percent goes a long way. Half of a percent goes a long way for, again, something outside of the actual commission. So let's head over to leveraging other real estate agents, Joseph. It's an additional realtor revenue. You're leveraging not necessarily the transaction at this point, you're leveraging the industry that you're in. And then we're going to migrate into the side hustles and the side gigs, Joseph. But right now what we're doing is leveraging other real estate agents. And this is where you get into the, what's your opinion worth? What's your advice worth? I like to frame it that way because real estate agents, regardless of when they start, let's just say somebody starts on January and now it's July or September, another agent's going to fall right behind you. There's always somebody coming into the industry because we know that the failure rate, unfortunately, is so high. So we know that there's newer agents following behind you. So even if you're in September, 9 months into your career, you're going to provide so much value. You're going to provide so much wisdom to those that are starting from the very beginning, 9 months back from you. So what I'm getting to is leveraging your advice and leveraging your opinion of when somebody asks you, hey, how did you get your real estate license? Something that simple. Well, if you're anything like me, you got it through X, Y, and Z school. Again, we're not gonna pay until they sponsor us. We're not gonna give them a shout out. But I got it through X, Y, and Z school, and it just so happens that X, Y, and Z school has a referral fee for me. And that's how you're leveraging yourself in the industry with other real estate professionals. Does that make sense, Joseph?
Yeah, I think there's an entire Facebook group that's dedicated to that. One guy probably has about 30,000 agents, so he's getting a referral fee on probably about 30,000 agents. But yeah, I think that's, I mean, if we're talking about knowledge, right, and the knowledge that you have, you're always going to be one step ahead of somebody else. Now, you could be thousands of steps behind somebody, but you're always going to be one step ahead. So as Jaime talks about this process of saying, hey, I got my real estate license here, I've had over the course of the last, since I was last licensed, it's been 4 years since I first got my license. So yes, I'm still a baby real estate agent in some cases, but you know, I could have started a brokerage of over 1,000 agents at this point, but we're not talking about that. But as you look at that, I've had people come to me who've now gotten their license. Actually, Jaime, one of them's in your market who I played college football with. And they asked me, hey, where did you get your license? How did you get your license? And if I was still in that part of the game, I would have been like, hey, here's the link. Go here. This is the easiest way to do it. If you need any help, please let me know. Right? And even in that process, you could do things. I don't want to start a whole system here, but basically you could start an entire business off of that alone. Right? Hey, are you thinking about getting your real estate license? Here's the course to go take. By the way, here's some training videos to help you along the way. Right? Or if you have any questions, here's my Facebook Messenger. Send me a message anytime you have a question or you get hung up somewhere. So you use that link, that affiliate link, to get people to help them get their license because they want to do it anyway, right? Again, a lot of the stuff we're talking about is these things are going to happen anyway. You're just fortunate enough to be there ahead of them to capitalize and make some money off of it. That's business, right? I don't care what business it is. As long as you're ahead and you're solving a problem, specifically helping somebody get a license, you're going to make money off of that process, right?
100%, 100%. So just to define, you already defined it, Joseph, but to define it a little bit further, what we're talking about at this point in time, at this point in the podcast, we're talking about affiliates, and we're talking about being an affiliate and leveraging your relationship and your status within real estate. So you're leveraging your relationship with other real estate agents, and just oftentimes we as real estate agents, we think we're very, very special, and we are, but when it comes to marketing, you're not marketing any different than X, Y, and Z person. You're not doing much out. I mean, every profession is different, but it's really the same when it comes to marketing. So one of the intangibles, whenever I say affiliate marketing in real estate, it's, well, what am I going to be an affiliate to? I mean, we went through some variations of affiliate marketing with the transaction, but the example of the real estate school, that is the easiest entry point, because one, you became a real estate agent and you needed to have those those credits to test. But you're also going to need to have CEs. You're going to need to have continuing education credits. So there's that opportunity for you to continue leveraging your relationship with other real estate agents. So there's always going to be a question for advice. And as you were mentioning about the making a business out of it, Joseph, affiliate marketing, what you're doing is you are in a way promoting somebody else's product or service and receiving a percentage. Sometimes it can be up to 80%. It can be 60%. Programs can be as little as 1%, 20%. It's just all over the board. But to give you one real life example, there's a real estate school. Again, I can't necessarily mention that school right now, but I'll give you the last 6 months just of affiliates. And I'm looking at my on my QuickBooks right now, so I'll get these right.
So this is real. So Jaime's going to tell you real numbers right now, as somebody who actually helps with that, right?
Yep, one affiliate. We're talking about one affiliate, and this is a real estate school. $1,839 with 30 cents. $1,850 with 66 cents. This is per month.
This is monthly.
Monthly, and then. The third month that I want to share with you is $1,864 with 11 cents. And then I don't know what happened, but in July, things just absolutely blew up. And that was 3,206. So almost doubled.
Everybody was at home going, what could I do to make more money?
And then it got even sillier in August, $4,267 with 82 cents. And this month, I'm on track for this month today, when I logged in, $3,200.
Okay, now, so people who are watching, I don't know if you grasp the concept. So a lot of people will raise their nose, if you will, Jaime, at affiliate marketing, right? But if it's done the right way and it's done with the right idea, and I don't love affiliate marketing for some companies, and we know who those companies are. Mm-hmm. The initials are CF, but they're fantastic at what they do. But if you're doing it the right way and you're going out and you're helping people, you're able to do what Jaime's talking about. 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 3, 4, 3. So you tell me that's not going to help your business at all, right? That's not going to help your life, all right? Most people are living. I want to be very careful in saying this. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck, even in real estate, because 87% failure rate. So you start talking about, how am I going to cover certain bills? These are ways to do that. These are ways to make money. And these are things that don't cost you 50 hours a week of your time, right? Because some people will do this stuff and make $2,000 over the course of 3 or 4 months. But now they're also dedicating 100 hours in a month, let's actually more than that. Let's call it 200 hours in a month to try to even sniff that, right? You're talking about the process that you do. I don't know if you want to dive into how that looks as far as the process is concerned to get the
Yeah,
affiliate
if
link.
it's gonna help the people, Joseph, you just tell me if it's appropriate, I'll share it, no problem.
Help the people.
Help
Help
the
the people.
people. Now, those numbers, for depending on who you are, you may be thinking, wow, that's a lot, or you may be thinking that is nothing. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's money. And it's
Yeah.
something that if you knew how little I worked for it, which I'm going to share with you how little I worked for it, you're going to be shocked. And
I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it tomorrow, Jaime. As soon as I find out.
if Joseph is going to do it, then let's not. No, the so yeah, when it comes to that, again, I share this because I just want to open your eyes. This is by no stretch of the imagination, that is not a flex because
Yeah.
it's nothing to flex about. I could show you I'm kidding, to actually flex on, but here we go.
Jaime, before you jump in, can I ask a question? You have to be licensed in order for you to earn affiliates with the company. That's correct, right?
Not this one.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I was going to say this is specifically for real estate agents. So anyway, people who are watching this obviously are real estate agents. So
Yeah.
if you're watching it and you're not a real estate agent, but you're getting your license, this might be a way to help pay for your license. So think about that.
Now there are programs, and those are the programs that you want. And if you want some ideas, I've become a really big fan of affiliate marketing. If you want some programs that are more real estate not related, but you have to be a real estate agent to where there's at least a barrier to entry, then competing against professional affiliate marketers, which at this point I am one. So if you want to compete, do it. But yeah, so in this particular one, this real estate school, you don't have to be, Joseph.
That's good.
I get a certain percentage on that one. I can't share out of it because it's going to be very obvious once I share the strategy. I can't necessarily share the percentage that I get off of this, but just know that I worked my way up to a pretty good percentage.
Fantastic.
So this real estate school is one that I personally have used in the past, and one that I continue to use. In fact, I have continuing education credits that are due in March. So I just signed up to get those done now. And what I did for this was not only just share, hey, just my personal link with whoever's asking, but as you know, Joseph, I have a larger YouTube channel at this point, at least larger than yesterday and larger than the day before. So that's really what matters.
Over 10,000. We'll say that. Over 10,000.
You don't need that big of an audience. So I made videos about it. I made some videos about it and sharing I think it was a total of 4 videos.
Fantastic.
4 videos. I'm going to publish number 5 next month. So that right there, those 4 videos did the heavy lifting for the numbers that I just shared with you.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So again, that's not working very hard because I do a video a day. But here's the thing. Here's the strategy. You have to help people. You have to show people what it's like behind the curtain. So it's different topics that I highlighted this particular school, but I gave different perspective. One of the videos that really took off was how to become a real estate agent.
Yeah.
People ask that all the time. So notice that I didn't go straight into this. In fact, I mentioned it maybe once in that video, and it's just in the description where that link is at. That's basically it, right? And then another one this one was a little bit more direct. I was doing a demo about this school. So that's a little bit more direct. And then I was doing a review. I think that was my 3rd video. And then I was comparing online real estate schools was my 4th video. So some of them are a little bit more direct about the product itself. Some of them are a little bit more global, and you provide a solution. It goes back to packaging, Joseph, we were just talking about. You don't go with the intent of, I'm going to make this entire video so I can get some affiliate money. Well,
sell. That's not what you're looking to do, right?
No, not at all. I'm providing a solution. Yes.
Even if that's back end.
Absolutely. Right? And I can tell you that one affiliate, I have no problem disclosing my income from that source. Like I just mentioned to you, those sources, that one affiliate makes more than I make on my entire YouTube channel. I don't make more
But
than $2,500 a month on YouTube, and I do a video a day. Keep that
but
in.
Jaime, I think the point here is it relates back to what we talked about previously on another podcast was your YouTube channel. As long as you create the videos and you do a decent job and you get started, it will start. Things will start happening that you're not really even thinking about anymore, based on the videos that you've done in the past. So now we're talking about these videos that you created, and I'm sure several of them are months ago, are paying you dividends today, right? So, I mean, everything that we talk about on this podcast pretty much helps people make money. They just got to implement, right?
Yeah, that's the big
So,
part.
yeah. So anyway, so congratulations first off on that. Second off, people, if you're not doing what Jaime is talking about right now, get off your butt if you need to make money. That's really, at the end of the day, it's all it comes down to. So anyway, that's fantastic affiliate strategy that you're talking about.
Thank
I
you.
don't know if you want to keep beating that one, because I don't know if we need to do anything else, Jaime.
Well, no, you just go get that real estate school. But so here's the thing. Again, we as real estate agents, we think we're special, and we are, and I fully acknowledge that, but we really aren't. So
Yeah.
playing both sides of the fence there. That's one example. Now think about what you do in your business. Think about, where did you get your website? How did you connect it to the IDX? Which CRM are you using? What email autoresponder are you using? Think of everything that you use in your business, and here's the strategy, and it's bold. Just go to those websites, go to the very bottom and see partner program or affiliate program. You click on that, you apply, and boom, you're a partner, you're an affiliate, and you can do that for basically any program out there. That's affiliate marketing. And again, you are coming from a solution-oriented angle. You're not a professional affiliate marketer unless you decide to be one.
Yeah.
You are, we see those questions all the time. We see those questions all the time in this group, Joseph. Now, I don't suggest them dropping in this particular group or really any group out there, because affiliate links are sometimes frowned upon. That's when that's where the DM comes into play.
Correct.
You're offering a solution, and people, that's that law of reciprocity. Hey, thank you so much for giving me a valid suggestion. They're not going to ask you, do you have an affiliate link? But that's why you have to tell them, hey, I chose this school because X, Y, and Z. Here's my affiliate link. It'll give you a discount in some cases. In some cases, it won't.
And so as you talk about these things, I think it really rings home whenever you, at least for me, right? Because I don't like the word affiliate, but I do like the word that you brought up as partnership, right? Yeah. Hey, here's my partnership. I'm a partner with this company, or I am a team member, quote unquote, team member of this company. And so I help, obviously, because I've gone through it and I believe in it. That's why I'm going to share this link with you. If it's, I think the problem that I have with affiliate links or affiliates in general is whenever somebody hasn't gone through the process and they're only trying to make money. All right.
Yes.
But I think when somebody has tested something, they've gone through it, like you were talking about this school, this real estate school, you know what that's like. You know what that process is like, and you know where the pitfalls are and the things that you really enjoyed about it. So you can tell people about those. And I think people appreciate that more than, hey, here's an affiliate link, good luck, right? So I think that's really a very good, important differentiating factor in knowing, hey, helping people versus just making money, right? By helping more people, and these are the richest people in the world have always said this, the more people you help, the more money you make. That's just the process of life in business, right?
100%. 100%. So that's the I like that word a lot more, honestly, Joseph, the whole partnership. So I'm going to start referring to it as partnership moving forward, and stay away from the A word.
Or ambassador. You can also say ambassador. That's another one.
Throwing in another A word. I like that. If you want to be an ambassador, bam. Yeah. And again, just take a look at your business. Take a look at what you're using. You can, a lot of brokerages have a referral fee. Some have them a little bit more generous than others. But when it comes to, again, you're helping somebody that's a little bit further behind in their career than you. They're going to look for a brokerage. They have to. By law, they have to get to a brokerage. A lot of brokerages out there, they'll give you a small fee. They'll give you a small whatever. So go ahead and look at that. At least, again, what's your opinion worth? What's your advice worth? You can monetize it. That's not your goal. You're not going to retire from that. It's just something that you have access to. And if you start seeing it from that lens and stack up these wins to Joseph's point, car payments get paid, mortgages get paid,
Yeah.
your marketing spin gets paid just by adding these auxiliary revenue streams across different platforms. So I think, Joseph, at this point, it would be a good idea to go ahead and jump over to the side gigs. I think that's
Sure.
I think that would provide a lot of value to the agents, because there's money to be had in different aspects. So do you want to kick off that segment, Joseph?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about side gigs. I think this is probably the part that a lot of people don't. Again, some of it's affiliate stuff, right? We'll talk about that. But one thing that we were talking about before we hit record on this was transaction coordinator.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people may not love the process of going out and selling houses in the beginning, or talking to people in that regard. But I can tell you this: you can make, let's say, for example, you're working with 10 real estate agents. Each of those real estate agents at least sells 12 houses a year. As a transaction coordinator, you're making between $300 and $400 roughly, right? So that means there's at least going to be 10 houses done a month, right? As a transaction coordinator, we're doing simple math here. So 10 agents, 10 houses a month, $300 to $400. So that means you're making $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Of course, you got to be good at your job. You got to know what you're doing. But I think going through the contracts and learning what the contracts are, it becomes such a process, such a simplified process that, and redundant process, that you will know how to do those things in 10 minutes, right? So as a transaction coordinator, of course, you also have to help in tracking when things happen, but you put systems in place, and now you're running a business, and you're making an extra $3,000 to $4,000 a month by only helping with 10 transactions, right? And that's not doing all the stuff that the real estate agent is doing, going and showing houses, putting signs out, doing all these things. You're just doing paperwork, right? So if you're somebody who's watching this or listening to this and you enjoy paperwork, which I don't know, there's a lot of people out there that enjoy that, but those of you who do, this is an opportunity to go out there and make a lot of auxiliary money by simply doing paperwork, right? And if you're really good, then you get an assistant underneath you, and they're doing a large part of the work. And anyway, that's a whole nother concept for another show probably. But that's just one of the many side hustles that you can do. Another one is being a buyer showing agent, right? You go and open houses for people, for a particular real estate agent. You connect with this real estate agent, and they have, let's say they do 20 transactions a month, and they just don't have time to keep up. And they didn't realize that until a certain point. So you reach out, tell them, hey, do you want me to go open houses for you? All right. You pay $50 to $75 per door that I open. Yep. Right. You're going to open at least 2 doors, probably 3 doors for one of their clients. So in the day, you can make, let's say $50, you're going to make $100, right? Or if it's $75, then you're going to be making $150 for 2 houses, right? So those are just some of the ways within real estate specifically to make money, right? So we're talking about all these processes, and we're still within real estate. We haven't even stepped outside of real estate yet. So we're talking about almost, what, you start calculating everything, almost $5,000 of extra money that you can make without even selling a house.
Yeah.
Right. And none of them are digging ditches at this point. Right. So I think it comes down to people wanting to do the work and wanting to do and just a little bit of research. You can make so much money. Right. So these are things that are, I think what we're going to focus on is, quote unquote side gigs inside of real estate, but there's still side gigs at the end of the day, right? They're not directly selling houses. So I don't know if you want to dive any deeper on other side gigs, but those are, just the transaction coordinator alone or the opening of doors gives you opportunity to make thousands of dollars, right, a month if you don't want to sell houses.
100%. And again, just going some other examples, you can do, if you're into crafts, if that's your thing, you can do closing gifts. There's many different aspects of closing gifts. So that is something that you can make a sizable business and you open up your Etsy store and boom, you're in business. Now, these
Yeah.
are related to real estate. We're trying to stay as close as possible to real estate. That's another example.
Yeah.
Something else, let's talk about photography. Let's talk about videos. Let's talk about, are you good at going to a home and making a video, editing, uploading, charging? There you go. That's another revenue stream. You can buy a Matterport and charge hundreds of dollars to go and do the Matterport into these homes, especially now because of the whole pandemic and everything going on. So this is something that there's some additional revenue streams that you can make it a side hustle if you want. Some cases you're going to find that you're going to find more passion in that side hustle and take that as your primary than staying in where you're at right now. But when it comes to the examples that you gave, Joseph, I like the competitive advantage of being able and being licensed to go and open doors.
I was thinking that exact same thing.
Yes.
You have to be licensed to do it.
Exactly. And also, even with the transaction coordinator, you have a leg up over one that's not licensed, a person that's not licensed, because you can have a more substantive real estate conversation because you have that authorization because you're a real estate agent. So real estate brokerages, they don't do in my opinion, some brokerages out there, they get beyond the gray line when it comes to what their transaction coordinators do that are not licensed, but you can fill in that void. And there's some agents that are heavy hitters out there that are just transitioning into that next step that need that type of service because their brokerage doesn't necessarily have that. And they don't, either they don't have the confidence, they don't have the foresight, they don't want to have somebody on staff to actually take care of their transactions. And they would much rather use you as a freelancer. So to your point, Joseph, we've talked about thousands of dollars, thousands of ways to make some additional income. If you at some point want to make it your primary, have at it. But you don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want real estate to be your primary, right? And so we're not saying, hey, get out of real estate. We want to be very clear on that. Like if you love real estate and that's your passion, we have videos that show you how to go get business. All day, every day, you can go look at our old videos, pull out probably 5 to 10 strategies, and you can have $100,000 real estate business if you implement. But what we're talking about is supplementing your real estate income with other things that will make you money as well to cover bills, to cover your monthly fees to your board, right, and other things that you have to pay. So as we look at this entire process of making extra money, it's not difficult, right? It's not easy. It takes time. But once you have your processes down, guys, there's no way, like even as I talk to you, Jaime, I think about this for myself, right? As a business owner.
Yeah.
And I say, you know what? I'm going to talk to about 10 transaction coordinators, see what their process looks like. What does a real estate agent typically look like? 87% failure rate in real estate. That means there are at least for every 100 people that are in real estate, there are 87 of them that need a way to make money. Hey, are you not selling a lot of houses? Would you like to make extra money? Can we teach you how to be a transaction coordinator? Here's the fee to come in to be a transaction coordinator. I'm going to show you how to go find agents who want to be who need a transaction coordinator. Here's how you start charging, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, as a business owner, I look at that entire process. I'm like, that's another $100,000 business right there. I can make another $100,000 probably by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Right. So you look at these things. If you're a business-minded person, there are so many ways to make money in real estate. But the idea is always to help people first, right? So as long as you're helping people make more money than you're charging them, they're going to pay you, and you're going to make money too. The person who makes the most money is usually the person selling the shovel, not the person going to mine gold, right? So in all these strategies we're talking about, and by the way, the amount of work is a lot less for the middleman too. Yeah. So as we're talking about these strategies, affiliate marketing, talking about being a transaction coordinator, all of these things, you're not doing as much work as the other people are doing, and you're able to make a pretty substantial amount of income to cover your bills, feed your family, feed yourself. And these are not all super hard things to accomplish, right, at the end of the day.
1,000%. 1,000%. We have We have so many different ways, and I like how you always phrase it. It doesn't involve you picking up a shovel or digging ditches.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say the last part, the digging ditches. That would be not cool, but at least
Especially
for
in
me,
Texas.
if you enjoy it, great. But so we've talked about different entry points. We've talked about leveraging the transaction to its fullest capacity. It
Yeah.
involves a document. It involves having a conversation. It's that simple. If you want to take it a little bit further and do the what did we say the A word was? Ambassador. If you want to be an ambassador, if
Ambassadors.
you want to be a partner, you can do it that way. It's going to take a little bit more work. The opportunity would need to be right for somebody looking for that type of business, unless you went actively prospecting, so you can drop your partnership link, if you will. So that's that. And then you also have the side gig. So it's a little bit more involved if you want to offer a product or a service. We just went through some service examples. If you want to introduce a product like the closing gifts, if you want to make a little course on how to become a real estate agent, back to an earlier point that you made, Joseph, how to invest in real estate. You have a lot of information that the general public does not. And if you can, you brought this up so eloquently last time, Joseph, so I'm going to do a good job butchering it today.
All right.
But the people, oh, I just blanked. The people that you just have to stay one step ahead of the person behind you. And it's not, I mean, that's just the reality of it. You just have to stay one step ahead. At the end of the day, you want to give sound advice. I'm not saying go out there and be silly with it, but if you really think about that, if you can provide step C for somebody that needs step C and you're barely on migrating out of step C into D, that can be a business in and of itself. And I mean, anyway, so I'm about to start repeating myself when it comes to that. So we're talking about additional revenue streams for realtors. We've given you different gamuts of it. And Joseph, I want to bring something up that probably people wouldn't necessarily feel would fit in this podcast, but I think it's so important because we're talking about additional revenue streams for realtors.
Yeah.
But here's something that I personally miss, so maybe I'm projecting here, but the dollar that you don't spend is the dollar that you earn or make, if you will. And here's where I'm going with that. Reducing your cost, folks, is so important. Reducing your cost any way, shape, and form, it's almost better than making some additional money, because then you're making your business more efficient. So what I'm talking about is calling the phone companies of the world and threatening to walk. I'm talking about reaching out to the companies out there that will cut you a deal the moment that you say, no, let's just cancel our service. Having those conversations and reducing your expenses, reducing your internet expense, reducing your phone expense, reducing X, Y, and Z. It just takes a little bit of time and knowing how to communicate and reaching to the right decision maker to have a $200 phone bill go down to $180. And that's not $180 for that 1 month. It's $180 going forward or until they do a new plan.
Correct.
So, what do you think about the saving money? I know that we hadn't really talked about that, Joseph, but I felt inspired and I think it was appropriate today.
Yeah, no, I've got opinions on that, right? My mindset is always this. If there's something you want, you learn to work for it and you make money, right? However, if you're a person who does not like to work really hard, there are ways to increase your income without doing more work, right? And one of those ways is to decrease your expenses, right? So that's everyday life. Calling the phone company, calling the cable company, calling your insurance company. These are all, so you basically look at your normal monthly bills, right? And if you haven't done this since COVID, you probably should.
Yes.
Look at your normal monthly expenses. Are you ordering food online? Could you go to the store and pick those up? Are you doing Instacart where they charge a fee? All right. Look at all these things and say, okay, let me add all this up. What does it typically cost me? And can I get rid of XYZ? Can I call the cable company? Can I call the insurance company? Can I call the phone company, right? Can I call these companies and say, hey, look, I'm looking to cut completely, but if you can give me a discount, I'll stay with you, right? But if not, I got to go somewhere else because they're cheaper. And at the end of the day, because and you can even say because of COVID, everybody's trying to cut their expenses. If you're not willing to help the everyday man, obviously you're just trying to line the pockets of the company. So are you willing to help me or are you not? And you shut up and you listen and see what they have to say. Let me get my customer, what do they call them? Customer retention
Yeah,
team over
retention.
here.
Yeah, retention. Yeah.
Yeah, let me get my customer retention team on and we'll see what we can do for you. That you're at step 2 at that point. And now they're like, well, what can we do to help you? And you're like, well, what can you do to help me cut my bill? Now they may do things like, hey, we'll give you less channels. Hey, we'll, cut your minutes down, or I don't even know if companies do minutes anymore, your data down. But you say, hey, if you're going to do that, I can still go to this other company and get the same amount that I currently have for less. Is that the best you can do? Right? And you keep whittling them down. And it's a process of having that conversation. You have to be, again, you're a salesperson at the end of the day, you're real estate. You have to be good enough to know the rebuttals. And once you know those rebuttals, you can bring your costs down. So Hyman, to answer your question in short, if you can cut your costs, you make more money. That's it, right? Like I am not very good at cutting my costs and looking at that because I'm of the mindset of the more money I can make, the more I don't have to worry about my expenses.